Live from Liquid Studio Group, it's 3 Men and a Mic with your host, Joe Barron, Gene Belmontes, and the Honorable Javier Montemayor, our closer. 3 minds, 1 mic, 0 filter. Sit back, relax, and enjoy.
Welcome back to 3 Men and a Mic with your host, Joe Barron, Javier Montemayor, Gene Belmontes. And joining us today on set, early on, we've got Rick Lauded, who's part of the Blue Ribbon Committee for the Bridge, and is also a licensed custom broker and former candidate for City Council. Rene Gonzalez, former assistant to the mayor, has been involved in economic development throughout the city, serves on a couple committees now as well. Made an excellent presentation the other day at City Council about bridges. And our hot topic is your city broken? And there are a lot of things we want to get to, but before that, Joe, week in review, man.
Week in review. A lot of things have happened.
Right?
Yeah.
First.
But today we got to talk about the Cowboys opening up the camp. It's
I'm going to hire
season.
the Cowboys to be my pallbearer so they can let me down one last time.
It's like a
I love those guys, but golly, it's a toxic relationship. Right?
Keep going back to, that you're going to get hurt at the end of the day.
I was so busy at work today, but I started seeing a whole bunch of Cowboy stuff pop up. They're talking about Max Crosby again. And,
I don't know. I mean, like I said, it's a toxic relationship, right?
The team you love to hate.
The team you love to hate.
Yeah.
Well, it's more the owner than anybody else. I mean, I just think when they asked him what team in the NFL would hire you as the general manager,
Nobody. He's lucky he's the
I
owner.
mean, he went home fuming from after that conversation.
Yeah.
But it is what it is.
Yep.
World Cup,
World Cup.
Spain.
That was good. That was
Spain.
good. I'm not a big soccer fan typically.
I'm a fan every 4 years.
Yeah.
That's right.
But it just, it dominated the airwaves, and everybody was watching. My office, with all the secretaries were watching. It was
Most watched
Yeah.
World Cup.
It was good.
Most money made World Cup. Most bet on World Cup.
In the U.S., how many people fell in love with the U.S. with its barbecue and its all the different places?
That's all the
Buc-ee's.
Europeans would talk about.
Yeah.
Buc-ee's.
Barbecue.
Barbecue and
Barbecue.
Buc-ee's.
Yeah.
It was in Norway. We had to import their meals so they wouldn't.
But
eat
the weirdest thing that I heard about the World Cup was TSA had a lot of problems with ranch dressing. Because they're not used to dressing on their salads over there. So they were hauling it back in their luggage and they said, check it.
Wow.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow.
Now, did
It was a
anybody,
weird-
Ed, did you guys have Spain? Did anybody pick Spain?
I did.
You did.
I've watched soccer all my life. I go to Monterrey. I'm a big fan of the Tigres of the Uni, and follow them every year. And for me, it was disappointing because Ronaldo and Messi have always been the greatest and stuff. And once we got to Cape Verde, I was like, the hell with Argentina.
Yeah.
And then they did it to Egypt, they did it to Switzerland. It was great. The fouls that weren't called against Spain, and it was Messi. And so I left with a taste of Messi's not one of the 2 greatest, but he's still the guy. But I just left disappointed, and everything was on everything was on Cape Verde. Everything was on. I lost money, but it's like going.
I lost money
like
too.
hating Kevin McHale. He was gonna win.
Yeah.
It was
I
fun.
want to tell my technical staff there that I don't know who Alfonso Gonzalez is, and Director of Border Region Behavioral Health
Behavioral
Center,
Health
but I
Center.
saw that on the screen. I said, I don't think he's joined us. So anyways, but I digress. Germany. I thought Germany had a shot.
They were out early.
Yeah, and they were out early.
And one of the things that I got, other than just soccer, it's like traditions that teams bring, like Japan.
The row.
Right?
The cleaning.
The row. Right? The
cleaning was
cleaning.
the best one.
They go, they take their bag, and they pick up their trash, and they leave it the way they got it. They clean.
I was lucky enough and very fortunate to get invited to the Netherlands-Japan game in Dallas, and it was a great game. They came back in 2-2.
Yeah.
The cheering on both sides was all the game, and yes, the Japan and the culture, and then you started seeing people also clean up.
Picking
Not
up,
only
yeah.
Japanese, but you had a quarterback, Winston was there.
Caught
clean
on,
up,
yeah.
and
Yeah, it's
James
contagious,
Brown,
right?
Winston.
Yeah.
People are helping out, so that's great.
That is great.
I posted something on Facebook that said I want to send my kids to Japan, not for the culture, but to learn how to clean.
Yeah, that went over well with them. Well, that's great. I mean, and again, most highly watched, most profitable. I think they've woken up a fan base that didn't really exist before, and I think that's going to be great for the game of soccer or football for the U.S. and abroad as well.
Did Trump interfering with that red card have anything to do with us losing?
With the
Absolutely
suspension.
With the
not.
suspension.
Oh,
Not with
good
us
Lord.
losing, but they shouldn't have. They shouldn't have been interfered with.
Yes, no interference.
Yeah,
Because
exactly.
we got our asses handed to us.
I mean, if he's going to make a phone call, have him call down to Jerry Jones and tell him to get off the sideline or something. Make a call. Closer to home, the Heat.
The Heat.
The
The Heat
did
is just.
exceptionally well, getting into the last round of 4, right?
Yep.
And lost to Vermont.
They lost to Vermont. But tell you what, I've never really followed soccer, but it's fanatical.
It is.
Fans are, and you can see how, football here in the United States is
King.
extremely popular, but soccer around the world,
It's an old other level,
more,
right? It's a whole
it's
nother level.
over the top.
Did you
it's,
see the amount of people that watched the Super Bowl versus the final of the World Cup? It was like hundreds of millions versus billions.
Yeah.
Great.
Yeah. Like 2 billion people watched
There's
the
a
football.
billion people in China alone, man.
So now
40 of us in Nuevo Laredo.
So I looked it up, right? So basketball players run an average of about maybe 2 miles per game.
Except LeBron.
Football players run about 4 miles, more or less. Soccer players during a match at that level run about 8 miles. That's
That's why they're cramping by 120th
Yeah.
minute.
That 2 mile
That's crazy.
deal in NBA doesn't include LeBron in there, does it?
No, he
the
walks.
76er,
Sliding on the floor in his
He
back.
walks,
Yeah,
he
he
walks
walks.
or he crawls. He's on the ground all the
the
time.
new
Flopping.
Sixer, man.
Oh, the U76.
He took a
Yeah.
huge pay cut.
Yeah.
He wants to win championships, according to him.
When I saw LeBron in the, they pasted the uniform on him, he kind of looked like Jimmy Kimmel when he did blackface. Yeah, that's a good trade right there. The buoys, first the flooding.
Yeah.
Again, in July, in the hill country, same places, same rivers,
Yeah.
same camps, all wiped out again.
But not, thank God, not the same result.
Absolutely. And that's a testament to those counties and those municipalities who went out and, jumped on the governor, said, give us some help, give us some warning stuff, some warning equipment, all those things, so that they had the advance notice. But that was great that we didn't see any of that. But we still had, a lot of damage to, roads. Especially when the water overtops the bridge. That's when it kind of strips it of all its asphalt.
Canyon Lake's at 100%.
Canyon Lake's at 100%. Nobody would have thought that.
And if I traveled to Bandera and had some work over there recently, but on the way over there, you could just, if you look to the right and to the left, you could see how that was flooded. The water was up, close to the railroad tracks off of I-35. It was almost
up
to the
there,
top,
yeah.
and on other areas it was covering stop signs. And so it's just, I'm going to say middle of last week, it started to go down.
And then, here on the bridge, we saw 20-foot increased swells.
Yep.
Up into the parking lots of the bridges, and we think, okay, Falcon Lake's going to get a lot of water. It went up from like 18% to 22% empty. So
Yeah, that's not substantial.
it's just so big.
I mean, it is. That's another thing. It's a big reservoir as well. The buoys got loose. Those that hadn't been installed yet kind of made their way down here, and we had a whole bunch of those hitting a couple light poles. Nothing happened to the light pole.
Hit a
I
bridge.
mean, it didn't even tickle the light pole. I mean, I get it that there are those who thought those things would really damage a bridge, and maybe they will at the same 95,000 cubic feet per second in the Pedernales. Imagine that hitting our bridges at that
Yeah, our
volume.
bridge is a lot wider. Our river's a lot wider than
Sure.
the Pedernales.
And it doesn't have the same kind of volume running through it. But by the same token, a lot of those bridges were hit by RVs, cars, propane tanks, houses, you name it, not a scratch. The ones that really got damaged is where that water overtops it. That's really where the danger is, I think. But easier to round up a couple hundred buoys than it is to let 20 million people come.
But I
to-
still
to
don't
Scottsdale.
understand why we still see cars floating away and people still trying to go through the
Oh, yeah.
roads.
Oh, yeah.
And
Turn around and don't drown. Just, I mean,
Yeah.
heed the warning. My goodness.
I'll tell you what, on the other side, the heat. The heat that we have in Laredo, and I'm not talking about the soccer field, I'm talking about the actual heat. It's rough. It's rough out there. People have to take care of themselves. They've got to, just stay under cover,
Stay
stay cool,
hydrated.
stay
Seen the
hydrated.
maps.
But it's crazy. The rest of the country. I was in Seattle last week.
Yeah,
87 degrees. We have a heat warning.
yeah.
I'm like,
Where's my sweater?
There's a
Crazy.
huge opening in the maps of clouds around Texas and Oklahoma, and everything else is rain and cloud cover, and everything is just right in the middle.
Big
We're in a
heat
heat dome again.
A few years ago, Chicago had a heat wave, 85 degrees, and somebody was complaining it was hot and stuff. Are you kidding me? 85 degrees? I've walked into porta potties in the summer, other than that, at 7 in the morning.
At Jalapeno Festival.
Festival.
Well, combined with the humidity, it's just it's dangerous and it's rough, man. It just you got to take care of. You got to watch yourself. So it's
The topic about the heat came up yesterday at City Council when they brought up the Hamilton Hotel for the city.
Yes.
Yeah.
That was
Well, there's an
that was
indicator.
tough.
There's an indicator your city's broken.
Yeah.
When you have situations like that where even the council is saying, we've given directive, we've said to do these things, and it didn't happen. And here you are
Who
stagnant.
owns the Hamilton? Is it a tax credit
The
system?
city
Is
does.
it the city? Or
The city took it over from that
Oh,
group,
is that what it was?
Skeen, those
Okay.
guys that took it over, and but they still have that arm's length because you have to because of the HUD grants that we
Yes.
used to acquire it. So they can't really just get rid of it. There's a lot of things that have to happen to make that happen, to make that transition back to the city happen. Some loans have to be paid, and some other things. But
I think
Apparently they had what, $200,000 sitting there to help to fix
the ACs.
to fix the
back
ACs, and it's
since
been
March or something,
and
or
it's just been
February,
sitting
when the
there.
money was given. So, yeah, I mean that's a good indicator your city's broken. But that's like I said, that's our hot topic, and we're gonna dive right into that in just a few minutes. We're gonna take a quick break, and we'll be right back.
just so you know.
Life is full of great moments, special moments, shared with friends, family, and loved ones. But for some, pain deprives us from fully enjoying these moments. If chronic pain is keeping you from fully enjoying life, there is hope. Hi, I'm Dr. Marta Martinez. At Advanced Spine Pain Solutions, we're dedicated to treating our patients with the most advanced and compassionate care possible. Visit us for an evaluation and let our experienced staff help you get back to living a pain-free life.
We have a 9-acre facility, 200,000 square feet of indoor storage, as well as about 4 to 5 acres of outdoor storage. Pricing is subject to change based on your selection of either indoor or outdoor availability.
Life is full of great moments, special moments, shared with friends, family, and loved ones. But for some, pain deprives us from fully enjoying these moments. If chronic pain is keeping you from fully enjoying life, there is hope. Hi, I'm Dr. Marta Martinez. At Advanced Spine Pain Solutions, we're dedicated to treating our patients with the most advanced and compassionate care possible. Visit us for an evaluation and let our experienced staff help you get back to living a pain-free life.
Hot topic, is your city broken? What's wrong with your municipal government? And, you know, prior to the show, as we put out the promotional pieces, we started to get comments from folks in Floresville and in other parts of Texas, Corpus, about the issues that they're having in their cities. And Renee, you've been around city government for a long time. This is not unique to Laredo. Laredo isn't the only place that's having financial troubles or having broken pipes and a revolving door of employees. This is happening in quite a few places.
Yeah, every city has its challenges, but it depends. The answer is, what are we doing to fix those challenges? And I think that's one of the biggest, and I've told Rick before, I said the biggest challenge for Laredo is geography, which is our biggest blessing when it comes to trade.
Sure.
But we have no one to compete with. And I use the example of city council. You go to Alamo, McAllen, Edinburgh, all those cities, Mercedes, they compete against each other even for Home Depot.
Mm-hmm.
There's people that are retired, they come from the Winter Garden and they're checking the budgets and they're doing these things. Laredo doesn't have that. Laredo's by itself. If you did, I mean, some of these cities, Mercedes, Alamo, 42,000 population. That's a council district, 42 to 47,000.
Mm-hmm.
We have a city manager that came in from a city that was 45,000. He managed a city that's not even a district. So from there, you have to start thinking, where are we going?
Yeah.
A vision, a plan.
Yeah, what's the plan? And how did this council end up challenging? And we're seeing today that, are we broken? I don't know, but can we be fixed is the question that I have.
Well, I mean, if we're broken, that's the big question. Can we be fixed? And if we're not broken, why does it feel like it is? Rick, I mean, you serve on a committee. You've run for council with and you had some great ideas and some good perspective on what the city could do, where it could be.
I think that the council members are too focused in on their piece of the pie. They don't work together to make the pie bigger.
Right.
So it's great that we have pickleball, like in our district, right? We have new pickleballs. We have a lot of new paved roads, and that's all great. And that's great that our council members doing that. But what else? What's above and beyond? They don't. I have never seen them come together and say, "Hey, together we went out and we're building this new project all
Sure.
whatever it is." But it's all like, I'm doing this for my district, I'm doing this for my district,
Sure.
you're doing that for your district. Everybody's pulling their own way, but not pulling in the same direction. And
Absolutely.
and I think that causes us to fall behind,
Mm-hmm.
comparable to other cities. And also, when things hit us in the face, we're reactive and not proactive.
Sure.
So there's a lot of,
Well, that's a good indicator, though, that a city's broken when it's reacting to everything rather than being proactive.
right, so we should be thinking 2045. And we're still catching up with bullshit, pardon my French,
Yeah.
with bullshit from 20 years ago. This Char Ruthinger Road.
Mhm.
How long has that been on the plate? 30 years?
Yeah, it's been there a while.
We finally got funding. The councilwoman from that district helped and got funding to match from the state for an area that's been left for a project that was very controversial from way back then. People died. People committed suicide because of that project. That right there shows you the city's broken back then. And if we're barely catching up to 30 years later, then we haven't done anything to fix it.
Sure. Joe, you're in the building trades. You deal with those people on a regular basis. You go in there to pull permits, to submit plats and things of that nature. What's your experience been?
I think that's one of the hardest departments to deal with.
No, definitely.
I take a plan to get it approved. You expect that the experts know what they're looking at, right? So if that plan has 4 errors, by the time you get it back, those 4 errors should be, this is what you need to fix, these 3, 4 things, right?
In reference ordinance or building
Whatever.
code or
You
something
forgot
to-
a light bulb, you forgot a light socket, you forgot a whatever.
Extinguisher, whatever.
Right. So you go and they tell you, okay, you have 1 mistake. I go fix it, take it back, and this is money for the architect. This is time for the
Sure.
project. So you go
Interest.
back, and then, oh yeah, you fixed it, great, but now you have to fix this. Just give it to me all at once, like you're the
Just
expert.
redline the thing all the way through,
Yes,
and then
yes, yes.
That's not the only department that does that. So
Yeah.
my wife's family is in construction, and
that's right.
when they built the plazas behind the arena, the fire department would go out there to give you the final seal of approval. One firefighter would go out and say these 3 things.
Right.
Okay, we'll set you up for an inspection in a couple of days. A different firefighter would go and say, okay, these are the 3 things. Okay, thank you. Well, now you got to do this, and now you got to do that, and now you're going to do this. And it's just, I don't know if it's a cultural thing where I'm the guy in charge right now. Not last time.
Those
Right
are-
now,
those
I'm
are-
the guy in
that
charge.
was that guy. This is me.
This
and
is me, so you got to deal with me right now.
Yeah.
And next time you'll get the same damn attitude. So it's like,
Javi?
Well, I think that it's hard to be a backseat driver, and what I'd like to see is, people who have these issues come up with solutions. What are we've got hundreds of people out there on Facebook talking about, or on social media talking about, hey, well, transparency and the patron system, and everybody, they throw it out like just words, but they really don't come up with any solutions. One of the things I see is just planning, simple planning. I think we do. I think Mike Rodriguez does a great job. I really do. I think the police officers do a great job. I think the fire department does a great job. I really think that the city in general strives to make a better way of life for its citizens. I see that, but I think some of the planning, we have. I think we need to attract, more tourism to Laredo. We need a convention center. I think we need hotels around that. I think we need strong restaurants. These major chain restaurants. I think we need to kind of develop that, but we have kind of, it's just spotty. We have hotels over here off of the Loop. We have hotels over here downtown, and there's no continuation. If you go to San Antonio, you go to Austin, and you sit and you go to these conventions and conferences, it's the whole city, the whole downtown area of San Antonio is just mobilized for that one conference, and then that conference leaves, and boom, you got another conference coming in, and it's just a planning issue that I see.
The challenge, I think, for Laredo is that we live in the world of the conditional use permit. So today, you have one permit, the next day you accuse it, I'm leasing it to this company now. Let me get, but the conditional permit, no, it was a conditional use permit for that building. So it's gonna cost you. The challenge that I've been, and listening to industry, I do get a lot of people that wanna talk and bitch about it because they've seen that I've been around for
Sure.
a long time, is that a master plan and the council don't respect the master plan. And that's a challenge. When you talk about broken, when you have a master plan, if you go to a city and they say, this is City of San Antonio's 2050 plan. So for the next 25 years, this is our plan. We do as much, everything's talked about, even the people running for office are talking about the plan as it affects their district. We don't have a plan that says, because it doesn't serve my purpose. And we've seen it. We just went through a challenge where one of the industry was trying to sell a property, and it cost the citizens of Laredo because we're not going to follow the master plan under my view. And it could be bigger things, but part of it is that master plan disrespect, which we see a lot more in Laredo, is that there is disrespect for the process.
Well, and on that note, you look at, and you mentioned the Rio Grande Valley. My opinion, independently, any of those towns, independent of each other, wouldn't exist. As they wouldn't be as strong as they were. It's the fact that they are all just abutting each other that makes them stronger. And they're able to attract tourism. They use that population hub there as a power play.
It's
Laredo.
the magnet for it, right? But what Renee has said, and I agree, is that because we're standalone, competition here doesn't exist. So competition doesn't breed the accountability that it does in those places.
El Paso's a standalone.
Sort of.
It is.
Well, what do you got across the border there? Right?
What is?
What is?
No, not this way, going back towards New Mexico.
Las Cruces?
Las Cruces,
That's like
yeah.
it's a little bit bigger than Zapata. I mean, it's not. They have a university, but
It's a
It's-
college
it's
town,
good.
and,
They
they-
have-
and
they
it's,
have
and it's New
a-
Mexico.
Utah.
I mean, they offered there's competition between New Mexico and Texas in those two municipalities. So I can serve that metropolitan area better if I'm in Las Cruces or El Paso, depending on what you offer me. And that's what's happening in the valley. Do I situate myself in Edinburgh or in far San Juan Alamo or Mission, Sharyland? You want my business, compete for me. And there isn't that here, right? And that competition is what breeds the accountability that we're looking for. But it also spurs on that type of incentivizing that municipalities do in other places that they don't do here.
But just look at, you mentioned it a little while ago, right? Like the bigger picture, like everybody working towards the same goal, right? So how do you go after those big businesses? How do you tell somebody that wants to move to Texas to come to Laredo when we have bad water, when we don't have hospitals, like, you know, when like how with healthcare, like how do we attract those big companies knowing that we have these issues? So now we know we have these issues, but we don't move forward to fix them. Like the hospitals. Why are we traveling to Corpus?
So
Why are we going to San Antonio?
No, so we just went through a 2-year battle with a family member with liver cancer, and whether it's cancer, whether it's an appendicitis, or whether it's whatever, a lot of times people bounce to San Antonio. They'd rather go to San Antonio and get the treatment there because there's 30 doctors that'll operate you. Here you have one cardiologist, maybe 3, in a population of 400,000. Over there's dozens of cardiologists.
There's the competition.
There's a competition. There's
Brings us back to
everything.
that.
But I mean, the
So-
healthcare itself is here in
But-
Laredo. It's like everybody goes to San Antonio.
But to Javier on this point, how do we fix it? I mean, what's the solution? I often see people on Facebook say the city should bring in a Bennigan's or should bring in. That's not the city's role. The city doesn't. That's private sector. The private sector looks at it and says, hey, there's a need for this type of food, or there's a desire for this type of service, Top Golf, whatever it may be, and there are enough credit cards and enough people to support my base, I make that move. What the city can do is make the environment conducive to it. When it takes Murphy's, who's a national chain, 2 years to get a plaque through the city, to get a building permit, to build a station on Jackman, and I was witness to all of that. If it wasn't for guys like Ramon Chavez who understood that process and at times intervened to make sure that that thing kept moving forward, that thing would have stalled. They may have just walked away at that point and said, you know what, I don't want to put my 2 cents in this place anymore. I'm moving.
And that's part of the challenge, is that the individuals that know are too busy getting things done that somebody else should have already taken care of. And we are...
It can't be the same people every time.
Well, the challenge is that we use the word patron loosely.
Yep.
But patron is the one that got the special
done.
attention. That's the patron, is what did I get? But the bottom line is, there's a guy 2 floors down from you that should have taken care of that. And they're not. I mean, you say stories, but I was listening to this conversation where a shrub cost the whole, the company was ready to bounce because they were like 6 months into the process of just, one guy said, like you said, one guy said it's a shrub, it should be this way, and the other guy said it's not.
Yeah.
And there's been between, and then they have to call someone and say, look, we're about to lose this company, please intervene, and we'll take care of it. And at the same time, is why?
Yeah, I mean, and again, that goes back to that point. And at Jacob Puig 3592 is asking, is there an electronic system to put plats and plans in? Absolutely. But when the same people who fill those things in,
it's the same guy that told him.
and they kick it out,
Yes.
and he submits it back in, fixed, they come back with another series of notes on it,
Yeah.
and he's got to fix it because somebody else grabbed that file. And I knew at one time Jerry Pinzon, who was head of building, was working on a system where if you got the file, you walked it from cradle to grave. That way there weren't other people who were coming in and saying, well, no, that doesn't look right. And they may have had some committee talks in between, But at the end of the day, you were dealing with one person. That was the person responsible for your project. I don't know that that's happening anymore. But when you add technology in it, it can either become the best thing for you or the absolute worst.
So-
Because things get lost in these files and people just hold those things up. But that's part of the issue.
But now, what does a new entrepreneur have to do? They have to buffer in 5 to 6 months of rent, because it takes about that long to get your damn permits.
Right.
So, being landlords, we know that our tenants are taking so long to start up. Rent's due day one
Day one,
of
sign the contract.
month one.
Yeah,
And because our note is due day one of every month.
you bet.
So, they start, and then the complaining is like, no, we still can't. The city hasn't given us the permits. And they're all different types of businesses. There's a restaurant, there's a haircut place, there's a there's a pool company, there's just an office for logistics, a bar, and everything has, it's across the board.
Well, and I would say my good friend Richard Rosas would tell you that it's a customer service issue.
I don't disagree with that.
Because I think that at the end of the day is, how do I give this individual the best customer service possible? There was a time when I was on council when the complaint was that staff would say, well, you're paying some high-priced engineer to figure it out for you. Let them figure it out. That's just wrong. You need to fix it. Now at least they tell you what's wrong with it. They put a chapter and verse of the code that refers to it, and you've got to go fix those things. But then, go back to Joe's point, you submit it with that fix, and they find 3 other things that are wrong with your plans, your plats.
And those 3 things to fix is 3 different trips to the architect, 3 different weeks for you to get it back. So, I mean, it adds time.
Another month's rent.
Yeah, it's another month.
It's
It's another month of rent.
Yeah,
Time is money.
And
Yeah.
time is money.
yeah.
But-
And speaking of money, who's tracking all this stuff? I mean, the city gets all sorts of influxes of money, and the audits. I mean, we talked about who watches what's happening at the sports complex, and who's monitoring all the inflows at these other different venues or enterprise funds. And I mean, to your point, when we're talking about Bridge, I mean, you came up with some really good stuff that you begin to wonder, okay, if the city's prospering in terms of city government, it's bringing in the right money, then why did it have a bond initiative that
Failure.
failed 90-10? I mean, they failed to prove the point that the city needed the money and or was on the right track with the projects. No plan, no CIP. None of those projects were on the CIP.
I can't remember the last bond that passed. You remember the one with the downtown convention center? That failed.
That failed.
The sports one passed, and I think B,
Yeah.
and it took a ton of
And I
work.
think
Do
that
we,
was-
do we all think that there should be a convention center? Hell yeah, we do. Can we agree on where it should be? No, we can't.
Or the size of it.
We can't
because,
we can't work as one.
What do we need?
Well, and again,
Yeah.
to your point earlier,
I'm sorry.
every district is working for its own
Ah.
success. There's no legacy project like a bridge or the arena. I marveled at Betty Flores when she was mayor, because she put everything she had into this one big project, and she unified her council, and she got it pushed. Then she went and got the populace to vote for it, and that's how we have the sports venue tax that created the arena. That's a legacy project. It's led to us having the unit trade, and now the sports complex, the tennis courts at TAMU, all off that sports venue.
What else did she do?
She also
World
worked on
Trade Bridge.
World Trade Bridge. Absolutely.
I still remember the sports venue tech, because I debated. We were involved in Kiwanis, and I was at that time the chair of the Commission and Bureau's Advisory Committee.
Mhm.
And I told Mayor Tatangelo, I said, Mayor, they want us to debate on the arena. And he grabs me from the back of my head, pokes my cheek like an
Like a
Italian,
little kid.
says, I'll debate you, son. And I'm like, oh shit, what did I get myself into?
You just got a hot-blooded
And
Italian.
and once again, the World Trade Bridge. And I told them at their port of entry meeting, I don't belong. This is by accident. I was involved in the early 1990s. I participated in the application process for World Trade Bridge. I was there when World Trade Bridge opened. I know how the history of why it was named. I worked with Cemex, went to Washington with Houston and other things, because Cemex was going anti-dumping. There was cement for the Mexican part of the World Trade Bridge, but there was no cement at one point for the U.S. part. So we had to go work with Cemex to try to get an anti-dumping deal. And in the end, Cemex just said, hell with it, I'll buy a company in the United States.
You know, I helped write the application for the World Trade Bridge.
Yeah, we were,
I was working with the city at the time.
Is that right?
yes, we were
Yeah,
there.
I was at
But-
community
I mean,
development.
But-
we spent 24 hours one day, from Friday to Saturday.
You know, I had to travel with Aldo Tatangelo
You got a
and
historic pass.
Buckley to Washington to go and push that.
But you know what? Councilwoman Cigarroa, Melissa Cigarroa, and I hated that she said this, that we're geographically blessed where we're at. I-35 is right in our backyard, and we've got all these bridges. What do you think? All that showed up just by happenstance? Over 100 years ago, Colonel Santos Benavides was protecting this trade commerce port. And there was no bridges, there was no I-35, there wasn't even cement laid down in Laredo. So the trade, what made trade today in Laredo is the Laredoans.
Yeah.
The Betty Floreses that made the bridge, the people that started working on the loop, the people that developed all the expansions,
visionaries that
the
came-
visionaries that came in and
before.
did that. And then for her to sit up there on council and say, we're blessed because we this just fell onto our laps.
But
Bullshit.
even that blessing's not going to last forever.
No.
Eagle Pass is
No.
chomping at the bit over there.
yeah,
the
San
valley
Antonio.
is
We're an
working.
hour away from the next bridge.
Yes.
And an hour and a half from the next bridge the other way. So there's, you know, the studies that they made with this bridge toll increase that they said, oh, well, if you go around us, it's a little bit more
Who did the study?
expensive.
What company did the study?
No. The city of Laredo did their own study. They didn't.
So you
Yeah.
have individuals who don't know anything about the industry, typing up a paper saying we can do this. And all it took me was a day. Like I said, I got in this by accident. They said World Trade Bridge, and I was like a deer. Like, what's
Well,
going
because
on?
it's near and dear to your history,
Yeah,
right?
it's part of my history. It's
Yeah.
part of my life. It is. It truly is.
Absolutely.
And when I
Absolutely.
started to get the numbers, I was like, I regret it because there's individuals in the council that I just said, did you just say that? Did you just say that? And it's concerning and it's unfortunate that these comments are being made, and all because there's no listening involved. I mean, when I did that report, I stated, literally, you go to a bank and they'll tell you, I need 5 years, you know, this, Joe, I need 5 years of income statement. So all I did was I went from 25 to 21, 5 years. In those 5 years, I found out there's a resolution that was done in 1998 that tells you because of the work on the World Trade Bridge, you were gonna have to put 50% to rise the stock and get the bonds strong enough. So you put 50% to the general fund. What I found out was that 70%, 68%, 69% was being put in the last 5 years. $65 million was taken away from the bridges. Bridges that we've been talking about technology and talking about we need to expand. And it's incredible to see, and they're saying, no, we need to do this. You didn't need to do anything.
They could have paid for
You
the
just need to,
infrastructure.
you just need, not only
Not
that,
cash.
you could have, there's, part of it is technology, $25 million. That's year 21 and 22. That would have paid cash. World Trade Bridge, they're saying it's 55 million. With the 25 million that Henry Cuellar brought and announced 2 months ago or a month ago, that's paid.
It was the week of
The week of the
voting.
20,
Vote.
It's paid. So 65 plus 25 is 90 million, there's paid. Then you look at it and you look at the report, and then they say, and they presented this at their World Trade Summit that they had, that the city sponsored. World Trade Bridge, 55 million in expenses. Columbia Bridge, 136 million that they want to pay.
Capital
It's
improvements?
no, to build bridge.
Oh.
It's 10% of the trade of Laredo's crossings. 10% of Laredo's crossings are going to Columbia. And you're gonna spend 2.5 times more than you're doing on World Trade Bridge? There's a thought process that's missing.
Wow.
And when you say about, is it broken? The spirit is broken.
Yeah.
You saw it in the council meeting. During those times, you were in the council meeting.
But
Oh. Go ahead.
we say we don't understand when we hear the largest inland port. We just think it's the biggest bridge. But we rival with LA to be the biggest port
Period.
of all the United States in all ports, air, ocean, and everything. So that is huge volumes. Why aren't Fortune 500 companies stationed here in Laredo?
Yep.
Why aren't large distribution centers stationed here in Laredo? They're in San Antonio, they're in Dallas, But you're right at the Mecca hub of where trade is. Why aren't we the trade compliance capital of the U.S.? Why aren't we a lot of things? Where's the initiative to go out there? Now, the city of Laredo puts an office in Monterrey, and CVB, and come visit Laredo. That's not working. It's been the same rinse and repeat over and over again with the different managers or whatever, and it's the same bullshit.
It's
every
not a
time.
current council problem. It's not a current city problem.
No.
These are things that these
No,
are
no,
these
no.
are these are these are things that have been
That's a
existing for.
challenge. But that's a challenge. A lot of this happened during this council's watch. Yes, it's been going on for maybe 8-10 years. So you can blame the previous, but this is going on right now, and the people that chose to do this is happening right now.
So the
So
people
it is challenging
You're talking about they chose to do what?
to raise the
raise
price.
the
raise
tolls.
the raise.
So
We
right,
have no need for it.
yeah, we're the things that they're putting out right now. The council in 20 years will be taking care of it, just the way we're taking care of the 20 years before us.
Unless-
Bullshit projects, unless something changes. But we're all Hispanics here. We are a very, very non-diverse city. Our culture is very intertwined with the lack of our expansion. Unfortunately.
Yep.
We say the valley this and the valley grew and the valley. Well, you know what? The valley was settled by whites. It was settled by Mexicans, but then they came in and took land that wasn't theirs. But it was developed by a different culture.
Yeah.
And look at that. And look at us. I'm Hispanic. I'm 100% first generation American. Proud of it. And I know my culture. We have a very huge pot, and every lobster is pulling the
Can of worm effect.
The lobster effect, where hey, you're getting out. No, come back.
primero.
We're aquí tú estás con nosotros. Y aquí te vamos a
Just to
chingar
tell
porque
a
te vamos a
family
chingar.
secret, my grandmother was Dutch.
I'm Spanish. I was rooting for Spain.
And then think about it. If you just use 25 extra money, $17 million, and said it's for the infrastructure that goes to the bridges. So you're looking at Vallecillo, you're looking at Ruth Linger, you're looking at Farm Road 3868 that goes from
Peñitas.
Mission
Yeah, Las
Produce and all
Tiendas,
those. Those can alleviate Mines Road. All those exits alleviate Mines Road. You could have put some of that money in there. It's interesting to see, now they made a projection for the bond money, and you look at the projection, and you don't need to raise prices to even pay for that. There will be money for that to pay and still have a balance of $3 million for environmental projects, for environmental studies, for different stuff. So you have to understand that this is the council that had this conversation. And instead, we had two situations. The bridge, they talked about a city council. I knew because I saw a city council meeting that said, we're gonna do a workshop for the industry to talk about it on June 2nd.
Yeah, they pulled the wool over our eyes.
Okay, it was gonna be a workshop of it. You get to the meeting on June 2nd, it's at noon, and then you look at the paperwork, it doesn't say
The agenda.
workshop. It's a special
meeting.
agenda, and this is the first reading of that item.
It's a vote.
It's a vote. So everybody's like, hey, this was a workshop. A council member even asked, this is a workshop.
Mm-hmm.
Why was this a special meeting? Well, because that's the way the process is. The
No,
process
it's not.
is you listen to me because it's a workshop. It's called respect. The industry should be respected. They're the ones that there are companies that put more than 100,000 into those bridges on a yearly basis. And from there, you go to the next meeting, then you have the June 2nd, then you go to the June
And done.
15th meeting.
Third reading.
They're at second reading and third. But you know what happens at that meeting? It's item 33. The language has changed from the first reading to the second reading
Substantially.
substantially. So the dollar amount has changed. Number two, out of the 78 items on that agenda, there was one item that didn't have the background on it. Guess what item that was?
33.
Item 33.
So that's where you start
So
thinking.
you start questioning,
Yeah.
and we have council members that, and you know this from seeing the council or any people, they have a public opportunity for people to speak on an item.
Mhm.
Usually it happens right away when they're speaking, and it was through the process we saw it. We saw it with that first cameras talk, and they were all speaking before, and then you make an item. This item, the city manager spoke right away, said, this is what we're doing. They didn't explain because everybody's like, well, what's the amount now? To this date, I went to the last port of entry meeting to get that information because they would have made a presentation saying, this is what the new dollar amount it is. They still haven't presented it to anyone. Second, that Melissa Cigarroa does a motion right away before even, and you think, well, maybe she got it wrong. No, a second before she was trying to get someone to speak on the, for public to move up an item. So she knows the process. Right away, she made a motion to say, we were discussing this item after the motion was made. And then the question that the city council were asking was, why is this not on the agenda the same language? Why is it the only item that doesn't have any background? Not discussing so we had a bunch of discussion. I showed the numbers. I said, this is going on. A councilman said, well, who do we believe? Do we believe the city? Okay, motion to accept? All of them. Everyone that said that they questioned, the attorney they questioned, they all voted yes. This was already a done deal. And as he said, it's a done deal. The spirit of the interpretation is that we can doubt all we want, and we want to look. Dude, these are people that we're supposed to respect.
But that you lose the trust in those people. You lose the trust in the process. Sure. And when I ran for council, I ran into so many people that said, "What do you want my vote for? I don't vote. Why not? What my vote doesn't matter. I hate politics. I hate Laredo's politics. I don't get involved. I don't give a damn. I do my 8 to 5, and I come home and I live happily ever after, and I don't have to get involved. And what for?
Todos están comprados.
Todos están comprados. Todos son ratas. Todos roban. Todos. Yeah. Eso, you're very right though about the patron system and people crying and people doing everything. Yeah. You know what? Where are you? How come I don't see you at the meetings? How come you're not vocal? How come you're not joining a club? How come you're not part of an association? How come you're not part of a committee? What are you doing to make it better? A lot of people bitch, but anybody can bitch.
Yeah. Well, they hide behind the computer and just on social media, just attacking. But here, so the question is our city broken? Is your city broken? I know we have some specific issues, and y'all have specific issues. One of the things that I look towards the future, 5 years from now, 10 years from now, 15 years from now, where are we going with our water? What's going to happen? We got all these developments going up, and we rely on the Rio Grande River, to provide our water resources. And where are we going with that? From what I hear, from what I understand, from what I've read, that river's going down. Our water treatment plants are at capacity.
Or subpar. Absolutely.
It's another enterprise fund.
So where are we going with this?
It's another enterprise fund, and we're messing with other enterprise funds. Imagine what we're doing with these also. Yeah. So it creates challenges because you think we're charging people more and more to invest in the system, and every year the same question: where are we with water?
Yep.
Water is what they call a drinking game item. If they mention it, you chug.
Yeah.
But that was a big selling point for Telis, that they were going to be such a close second source water to the city of Laredo, and then it spun off, and it didn't pan out.
And I think there's a lot to be discussed about that in regards to what municipalities are facing along the border and Corpus as well as water. And we'll come back to that after this break. We thank our sponsors, but I think that's going to be a topic that we need to focus on when we come back.
Life is full of great moments, special moments, shared with friends, family, and loved ones. But for some, pain deprives us from fully enjoying these moments. If chronic pain is keeping you from fully enjoying life, there is hope. Hi, I'm Dr. Marta Martinez. At Advanced Spine Pain Solutions, we're dedicated to treating our patients with the most advanced and compassionate care possible. Visit us for an evaluation and let our experienced staff help you get back to living a pain-free life.
We have a 9-acre facility, 200,000 square feet of indoor storage, as well as about 4 to 5 acres of outdoor storage. Pricing is subject to change based on your selection of either indoor or outdoor availability.
Life is full of great moments, special moments, shared with friends, family, and loved ones. But for some, pain deprives us from fully enjoying these moments. If chronic pain is keeping you from fully enjoying life, there is hope. Hi, I'm Dr. Marta Martinez. At Advanced Spine Pain Solutions, we're dedicated to treating our patients with the most advanced and compassionate care possible. Visit us for an evaluation and let our experienced staff help you get back to living a pain-free life.
We have a 9-acre facility, 200,000 square feet of indoor storage, as well as about 4 to 5 acres of outdoor storage. Pricing is subject to change based on your selection of either indoor or outdoor availability.
Back in 3 Minute Mike, your host, Joe Barron, Javi Montemayor, Gene Belmaris, and our guests, Rick Laurel, Rene Gonzalez. And we were talking about water as we were exiting, and that's, to me, that's one of the items that I've worked on when I was on council. One of my, not necessarily a regret, but just I wished we would have gotten further. We were at the cusp of having a secondary water source signed and ready to go. And the city decides to pivot and go and build El Pico.
Pico water plant.
The Pico water plant. And so we've missed that opportunity, and now Talise comes over and they say they can do this. We still have water purveyors in West Texas, in the Hill Country, all saying we can sell water. And ultimately, this is going to have to be a regional approach because the city of Laredo can't afford it. The one thing that's never been told to the consumer of the city of Laredo is that the day that we acquire secondary water, our cost of production will shift. Right now, because we get it from the Rio Grande, it's about $1 per thousand. For every 1,000 gallons the city produces, it costs about $1. Then you still got to transmit it, right? After you treat it and get it all ready, you still got to transmit it. When you get secondary water, the least expensive price we could get delivered, that is to our spec and our point of location and the quantities and qualities we wanted, was $3.85. That was almost 20 years ago.
No, what's it at now?
We don't know. Now,
3 times that.
Talise is closer, and if they can ever prove that they have the water, and I don't know, has anybody in this community seen the pump tests and the quality tests and water tests?
From what I understand, that it was promised and pie in the
Well, we-
sky, and then it didn't pan out.
It still hasn't happened, but yet they're wanting us to get involved in a lawsuit. They want us to get involved with the GMA 13, and they want us to maybe potentially consider pushing for a groundwater district. All these things are happening, yet no one has ever said we have this quantity and quality of water, and we can prove that. Who knows? You got to buy the tacos next time.
He's buying.
I'll bring them
Tacos.
tacos. My bad.
And then Davenport just got added on a letter of intent. No, again, no studies, nothing. We're going to go up. And yes, they made it clear. The city manager and all those made it clear that they still had a lot of discussions to go before they get there. But we've been waiting way too long. And what happens to a community that waits too long? Corpus Christi. Here's your example.
They're chomping at the bit to get as much water as they possibly can.
From
'cause they're
anywhere
out- yeah, from anywhere at any price.
Yep, at any rate.
Well, it's a major concern, though. You know, when you look at the future of Laredo and our kids, you know, those that are coming up, you know, behind us, you know, it's a major concern of where we would be. That is one concern that I hear amongst, you know, the general public. You know, hey, we're building all these houses. Where are we going to get all this? You know, where are we going to get water from? You know, the Rio Grande is going dry. In 5 to 10 years, you know, it may be below the level that we need it at. You know, where are we going? You know, what is the vision with regards to that? And I think that is key to the survival of any city, any community. You have to have that water.
But it's a basic necessity, Zola. Not only water, but look, so you look at water, the healthcare, right? Our city dump, where we throw our trash.
It's surrounded by houses now.
It's already
Schools,
full. It's
yeah.
already full of schools and like.
But we're good.
But we're good, right? So it's just those basic little things that we.
Well,
And that's an example of a master plan.
right.
Are
Because
we honoring the
We don't
tools
even
that we're
honor our
offered to?
charter, much less our
And we don't.
our master
we're CIP.
plan.
I mean, the bond elections prime.
That's
prove
they're there for
that
a
we don't
reason.
follow the-
Everything
Rene,
is
is
laid
there
out for
a master plan?
reason. Yes.
Do we have one?
Did it?
Yes, we do, but
Yes.
How old is
The
it?
last time we had a master plan issue, cost us $6 million.
No, but that was 8 years ago, no? Wasn't that about 8 years ago?
No,
that-
this issue was last year, 2 years ago, when the P&Z was told, you're not gonna handle this, city attorney will take care of it. And then it became an
Oh,
issue
yeah,
for the.
the Recode Laredo and Viva Laredo plan. But I don't think that incorporated all these other items with it. I left all that out. There was a Vision 2020 that was done in the 1990s. Vision 2020, look at the city out 20 years. I don't think the city's gone that direction. Now,
What
luckily
was it
for
that-
us-
I was the last chair of the Milagro Ghost for the 90s.
What was it that Able City created for the city? Was it?
Yeah,
that's
that's
the
the
Viva-
recode, but then they only used architects and the engineers. I don't know, you're seeing the
Yeah.
challenge.
Yeah, I
Every
remember
time.
under,
I remember.
it was under Carlos Villarreal, there was a 5-year master plan, a 10-year master plan that were kind of coming around back in the day.
Well, by charter, they're required to submit a
It's
CIP.
a CIP.
That's the
But they
idea.
never follow it. They bounce around from there, so we want to do this instead. And again, going back to
Yes.
Rick's point, I want to do my deal in my district, and so, you know what, cancel that CIP project and move the money here because I want to do this, and the council votes for it, that's how it happens. They don't stick to that plan, and so they don't go out and bond for those things. And now with the state saying your maximum increase in revenues is 3%, if you go above that, you have to lower your tax rate. That's making it harder and harder for cities to find funding to do these things.
Not if you have a golden goose.
Well, but then you,
You just raise prices
But it's,
on your rich toes.
but that's a challenge. There is no golden goose because your attitude should not be that.
No,
And
I
I
shouldn't.
That's right.
think, déjame quitarle a Pablo para darle a Peter. No, man, it's wrong.
oh, but they're also,
There's discipline involved. If we would be doing every year, even let's say after Jean Belmada's left office, the next city council said, we're gonna start thinking about a $2-3 million bond issues, just every year. This will pay for itself in 2 years. Just go, 20 million. A lot of things that we've been talking about today would have been taken care of. Hindsight is 2020, but a lot of us were involved in that hindsight as we went along.
On the process.
We grew up in that challenge and nobody did anything about it. And it's because there is no plan. And when you're in advisory committees and then they don't trust you. The bond election that this one was, how many of the bond election committee members ended up saying, I'm against this because you didn't pay attention, you did not listen to what we recommended for the bond.
Mhm.
And then how citizens are gonna trust if your own bond committee members are saying, this isn't what we asked for?
Right.
How are you
They're
gonna
not
get them
buying
to
in.
pass? They're not gonna buy in.
well, I mean, you have
If
to.
they're not
But
buying,
that-
and.
That showed how
and
much
it's-
trust the people have.
No, and those committees are kind of just to quiet everybody's questions, just to like bring out the pony show, and that's it. They're never intended to follow.
There's a
it.
reason.
Because it
Never.
gives you cover. The city manager can now say, I went to the public, I did my job, I went and I talked to the populace and the public, and they came in, they gave me their input, and this is the decision we made.
But y'all make it seem like it's this huge conspiracy. And
No,
I just
no,
don't
we
see
don't.
it.
No,
It's actually
no,
huge
no, no,
conspiracy.
it's just-
I don't believe in that. in that
So
whole
we
conspiracy.
got committees that are
No.
just kind of just, you know, we're gonna brush through whatever they say just to, you know, kind of
Quiet.
cut.
To
placate
quiet
everybody,
every-
yeah.
Yeah, you know, I think
it's-
So I've been
it's-
part of
it's-
3 different committees. CVB, Parks and Rec, and Port of Entry Advisory Committee.
none of your recommendations.
None
were-
of the recommendations are taken. They're all 3 different industries, 3 different areas. None of them are taken. It's just information pushed down to you. And then if you make a recommendation, you never hear it come up. We've made tons of recommendations at the Port of Entry Advisory Committee. That is I think an important one, but it's only an advisory committee. We're gonna do whatever we want anyway. I don't think there's conspiracies. I don't believe in that. But I do think that nobody's pulling in the right direction or in the same direction.
Did you believe
I've been part of the traffic committee, and right now I'm
Believe
part
it
of
or not, alone in the
the
universe.
Parks and Rec.
The
The Parks and Rec.
Parks and Rec.
We've never heard anything about the new baseball fields. None of that has ever come down to us. None of it.
But it goes back
I
to the
mean,
what I'm
council.
saying.
you would think, right?
Like Mr. Montemayor said, it's done just to appease.
Well, and that's what I was saying, that gives them cover. So, well, I talk to the public. I have my appointees and I talk to them. Really, when was the last time the person who appointed that council said, sit down with me, explain what you were told in that workshop, and then I'm going to echo your sentiments at council. When I was on council, one of the things that we did, and Danae is a witness to. We created District 6 Advisory. Every single one of my members who served on the committee had to visit with me once a month. And we had a meeting at the airport, and we would hash out everything at committee. Because the mandate that Betty Flores gave her committee members is the same one I gave mine. You are there representing me with the full weight of my office. If they disrespect you, if they dismiss you, if they decide that they don't need you anymore, you come back to me and we'll take it from here. And supported my committee members that way. And oftentimes what was being said by me at council was what was being told to me by my committee members, because in that council of multitude was wisdom, and we made good decisions that way. If they're not listening to you, if those committee members, council members aren't calling their committee members on a regular basis and saying, what's happening at your committee, they're doing you, the committee member, a disservice and doing the public a disservice.
That doesn't happen.
I was on District 3 and same thing, and sometimes we'd go, the council would say, prove me wrong, okay, here. It's like, oh, but the city manager told me, well, yes, he told me this, but this is, I mean, it's communication.
Yeah, and it's trust but verify.
It's trust by verify, yeah.
Yeah.
I don't see,
And that's not
like what you
happening.
said, I don't think, there's no conspiracy. It's just process.
There has to be, I mean, for it to function, you know, with all this malfeasance and you know, it would have to seem like there's some huge conspiracy, but I just don't see that. I don't see that in the council. I don't see that in our city management. I sincerely believe that we have to have trust in our city government. We have to have some faith that they are going to do the right thing. And I think most of the city council members, yeah, you know, they have certain projects in their district that they want to accomplish, you know, like I do on the school district, and Gene had when he was on city council, and you know, but I think the master plan may have been something that was you know, put forth back, what, 8 years ago, maybe 9 years. No, I'm sorry, 2000. What? When was this master plan put forth?
No, that was, the recode was not a master plan.
It was
just
more
a-
about development.
Okay.
They haven't had, since Vision 2020, they haven't had a comprehensive look at where Laredo should be 20 years or 30 years down the road.
And I see that is where
And San Antonio's had it. I mean,
I think
consistently.
that is.
It's
I
the
think
using of
you're
the
right.
plan.
I think
It's the using of the plan.
yeah, the plan and the following of the plan and the development of the plan. I think that is what.
But
We're-
I'll give you one example, and no, it's not, it's an individual, but at that city council meeting on June 15th, one of the individuals who spoke, who's also a member of the Port of Entry meeting, a councilman said, why are we hearing this now? Why didn't the city council, the city representative from the bridges come and tell us this? And his answer was, yes, we did have communication. We've been telling you that this is not needed. Every meeting, you just have not chosen to take our word for it. And then when we found out where it's going, because you can't even explain where it went. If you did an open records request, you're like, well, no, I went to the general fund or capital improvement, we don't know what the projects were. So it's not that it's still case by case, and no, the sky's not falling. But there's a challenge at this time that there are tools that bring us closer together that may not be being used at this time.
But you just mentioned San Antonio, and that
Yeah.
they have a master plan, and that
They
they
do.
follow the master plan. But they're dead broke and can't afford the master plan that they put ahead of themselves.
Well, and again, aggressive as it may be, you know, they are working their way through the same financial issues that Corpus,
Downtown.
Laredo, and others are doing. But
But they're focused.
they're focused.
Yes,
And
and I
they-
think their biggest problem right now is that they have very piss poor head mayor there right now.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
there's that.
There's that. And
But,
again, we
I
have
mean-
our-
And that's the citizens to choose. That's
Yeah.
not
Right.
our,
I mean,
we
that's-
can't say that.
No, but
If-
you know the brain drain is real here. The brain drain is extremely real. Our kids leave and they don't come back.
That's
So
a big
what's
deal. That's a big
It's
deal.
a huge deal. You're in school
Yeah,
board.
no, I hear it all the
So
time.
all these kids, my daughter starts in 2 weeks at UTSA. I doubt she'll ever come back.
do you think so?
I'm
Well,
the only person
yeah.
in my family here in Laredo.
When you get competitive, you know, the pay, you know, is it competitive like Laredo, the amenities that we have to offer, all the different activities that we have here, you know, that is something I don't see that as a current issue, but it's something that has been going on for a long time. And how do we you know, keep our kids here? How do we keep our our graduates here? How do we, have them invest in Laredo? That's always been a challenge.
So what does Laredo have? Import, export,
Mhm.
law enforcement, right? Federal partners,
Federal,
all that.
federal.
Teachers.
Those are the three,
Those
the
are
top
those
three
are the-
industries.
Yes, okay. So right now, teaching is not looking so good. With everything that's happening, with all, the cuts and less money from the state and all this kind of stuff. My son's a co. My son's a teacher. He goes, Dad, maybe I should go try taking the fireman test. You know what I mean? Like they're thinking different, right? Federal. It's hard when all we have to offer is that. We if somebody goes and gets a degree in psychology, what are they going to do with it in Laredo? They got to leave to get a good job.
So you just mentioned two really well paying and that jobs that have really good retirement funds, and you do not need a college education.
Which ones?
Fire department and border patrol, federal
Yeah.
customs,
Yeah.
whatever, law enforcement.
And they're recession free.
They're
recession free.
Yes.
Yeah. You don't have to worry about the ups and downs of the economy.
So my question then is, before we head off into the last bite, is if you had one piece of advice to give the city, what would you give them? What would you tell them? Where's the improvement? Fair question.
That's a very good question.
What would you tell them?
Listen.
Listen to your constituents, listen to your committee members, listen to those people, not just during election time, because that's what we get. We get I'm concerned with the same things you are. Yeah, for this next 4 months because you're running for office.
Yeah, but they don't. It's my way is the best way, and you're not the best at any particular one thing. You have to be good at everything, not the best at one thing, because there's so many different topics.
Yeah.
There's the water, there's a fire, there's a police, there's
planning and
housing,
zoning,
there's
there's
planning and
parks,
zoning, there's
Quality of life.
quality of life, there's entertainment zones, there's
Municipal finance,
the biggest board.
structured, yeah.
You have attraction.
Exactly.
Yeah. So what would you tell the city? I mean, listen, what would you tell them?
No, I would say there's a lot of council members that are very out of tune with their community. Okay, and we've caused those problems. We've let those council members be out of tune with their districts. You need to really understand what your district needs, because I guarantee you live in the best part of your district. I guarantee you none of them live in the worst part of their district. Do you know what the worst part of your district needs, or do you know what your section of the district needs? Just because we live in District 6 doesn't mean that everybody lives in $1 million mansions.
Sure.
There are $1 million mansions, but there's also the very opposite of it.
You bet.
And some districts are worse than others. But you do not know what the very bottom of your district needs, because you're very focused on the very top.
Sure. Joe?
To me, it's, how do I say it? To me, it's like when you ran, I'm sure, I know both of you, right? I'm sure your thing is, okay, how am I going to make a difference? How am I going to better my my city,
It's a
my
conversation
neighbor?
that I had, right?
Right.
Can I make a difference?
Can I make a difference, right? So
It has to be the only question.
a lot of what happens now, the people, once they get in office, they stop thinking that. It starts being self-serving.
That's true.
And by that I mean, not that they're trying to get I'm thinking they want to get reelected.
Sure.
So sometimes you have to make those hard decisions to stand alone, speak up, and I think some of our elected officials need to do that. Speak up, stand alone,
What's your opinion?
do what's right.
But
Orlando Navarro has a great saying. When he started at the city, one of the things he told the city manager at the time, Robert Yates, said, I'm not going to focus on keeping my job. I'm going to focus on doing my job.
That's it.
Because everyone focuses on keeping their job. Just I don't want to make any decisions that are
Be
bad.
quiet,
I don't want to
stay
say anything.
down. Yeah.
Keep my head low. This is great benefits. I'm going to retire here. I don't really deserve this position, so hopefully they don't fire me because I'm going to have a hard time somewhere else. Because that's what happens with bureaucrats. But if you focus on doing the job, the rest takes care of itself.
So that's basically what I mean. Just instead of being self-serving. Do you know? Be why you ran in the first place.
That's not just a city employee thing. The city council is
Oh,
always
that's
on the
what
same
the-
boat.
yeah, that's it.
I can't
Yeah.
speak out against because I'm gonna need your vote, and the next time I need money.
Sure.
And then they ostracize that one guy or that one person, and they don't get anything done
Yeah.
because they voice their opinion. You want them to voice their opinion, but at the same time, they're gonna get shot in the foot.
Sometimes
happens,
you need to
man.
walk on.
Yeah.
I know.
horrible.
You know,
What would
So-
your advice be?
look, I do think that there are some public officials that do probably get into self-serving roles after they're elected, and then it happens. But I think we need to restore the faith in government, and I think we need to restore the trust in our public officials, because that's just across the board. Whether you're on the school district, whether you're on the city government, the county government, it doesn't matter. It just, social media has had a really,
Adverse effects.
adverse effect on it, and you got all these backseat drivers, all these backseat drivers who are just, throwing out all these just really disgusting comments, and it detracts from what the problems or the solutions to the problems, and it actually makes people not want to run, not want to participate in city government. It affects our voting. It affects the people who are coming up who may want to run for politics in the future. Do I think our city is broken? I don't think our city is broken. Do I think that we have a lot of improvement? I think there will always be improvement that needs to be made. It's kind of like working at the ranch. When I grew up at the ranches, and I'd go with my father, there's always something that needs to be worked on at the ranch. Siempre hay algo, and you turn around and something breaks down and you have to go in and fix it. That is city government. That is the public education system. There's always improvement that needs to be made. Do I think we're broken? I don't think we're broken. I think our city government is doing a good job with what they can. We may not agree with all their decisions. We may not have that all the information that they have, but I trust them. I think they're okay. I do have questions with regards to our water sources. I do have questions with regards to where we're going to be at in 10, 15, and 20 years. But I will say this: for those people, and Rick said it, they bitch a lot. Step up. Run for a seat. You want to have a voice? Run for a seat. Join an association. Join the club.
Get a committee.
Get on a committee. Get appointed to something. Put your money where your mouth is, so you can see exactly what they're looking at, what we're looking at, and you can participate in the system.
But for the right reasons, and that's what I mean. Because right now, I know of a couple of people that are going to be running for certain seats that are running because
They want to hurt somebody.
because they want to get back at somebody for not doing
They
something,
want to hurt somebody.
right?
And
So
that's the wrong
so that's not the reason why to run.
Sure.
No, you should never run when you're angry.
You know what I mean? Like
You're-
don't
You're not
be-
going to do anything good.
No,
Yeah.
no,
You should
not
be
at
there
all.
to do something good. Make it better than when you found
But
it.
it's their
If
opportunity
it's
to
a
do
city,
what
it's
they.
the citizens. If it's a school district, it's the children.
Yeah.
Make it better
Exactly.
than when you found it. That was something that I was brought up on. You found it this way. You know what? Make it better. Si no te hago un bien, menos un mal.
Si el corral está cerrado, ábrelo.
Yeah.
Pero si este está
Yeah,
abierto.
it's what it is.
There's a novel idea from Super Bar 30 that came in from Facebook that says maybe when we, as a city, we should maybe hire folks that are coming back from college, and if they stay with us a certain amount of time, we help them pay their student loans as an incentive to come
Well,
back.
they try. That's a really good. They do that in the medical fields for
They-
underserved. Laredo's an underserved.
And in the teaching field
And in
also.
the
Teach
teaching
America,
field,
I think,
yeah.
is one of the programs that does that as well.
That's how.
I think Dr.
That's
King
how
was-
Dr. King.
Yeah, Teach America. That's how he got here.
Our council member for District 6. That's how he ended up in Laredo.
It's Teach America, not Travel America. Right?
Yeah.
That's what- yeah, Dr. King came, and again, that's a great program.
Yeah.
But I think if I had one thing to tell the city is, put your money where your mouth is. You talk about transparency and about listen to your people. You say buy local, and then you go and you bring all these vendors from out of town, and all that money leaves Laredo. You say we ought to hire local, And what do? You're bringing in all these other people to fill the positions that good, qualified people in Laredo could fill. And you're letting a company like, I don't want to call them by name, but they're out there bringing in candidates, and they look at our candidates from locally and they're just setting those aside. And so that would be, if you're going to make me a promise that if I join your organization that there's an opportunity that someday I might be a director or I might be an assistant city manager or the city manager, prove it. Because the last thing you've done is brought somebody else in from somewhere else rather than let us, the good talent, rise to the top.
Is there training though? Is the city staff trained to?
And that
move
was a
up
program
next one?
that Larry had and Carlos had for a while, where they paid for tuition, they had leadership courses, and I think those are back. But they're training these people to become good city managers. Now they're attending Harvard classes and others. But that's internal. So that means that the next city manager should come from Laredo if we're doing the right training, if we're preparing our young staff to move forward. If not, what hope do they have? They'll come here, they'll get their feet wet, they'll learn a few things, and then they're gone.
And they're dead.
So we'll be right back with the last bite, and we're going to discuss, I don't know, what was the last thing we were talking about? We haven't talked about Chinese food, or somebody tell me what the best new restaurant in town is. We'll be right back with the last bite.
Life is full of great moments, special moments, shared with friends, family, and loved ones. But for some, pain deprives us from fully enjoying these moments. If chronic pain is keeping you from fully enjoying life, there is hope. Hi, I'm Dr. Marta Martinez. At Advanced Spine Pain Solutions, we're dedicated to treating our patients with the most advanced and compassionate care possible. Visit us for an evaluation and let our experienced staff help you get back to living a pain-free life.
We have a 9-acre facility, 200,000 square feet of indoor storage, as well as about 4 to 5 acres of outdoor storage. Pricing is subject to change based on your selection of either indoor or outdoor availability.
Life is full of great moments, special moments, shared with friends, family, and loved ones. But for some, pain deprives us from fully enjoying these moments. If chronic pain is keeping you from fully enjoying life, there is hope. Hi, I'm Dr. Marta Martinez. At Advanced Spine Pain Solutions, we're dedicated to treating our patients with the most advanced and compassionate care possible. Visit us for an evaluation and let our experienced staff help you get back to living a pain-free life.
Welcome back to 3 Minute Life. Our last segment, it's called The Last Bite. Our host, Joe Barron, Javi Montemayor, Team Belmares, Rick Laudel, and Rey Gonzalez, our guests. And we were talking about best new restaurant in town. I've got a couple.
Then there's a new P.F. Chang's. That's new.
Have you been?
Yeah,
Like it?
it's good. It's just like the P.F. Chang's in San Antonio. It tastes just the same.
Yeah. But service still the same? All that's good?
The place is nice. It looks small from the outside. They don't have, they have the mini horse. They don't have a full-size horse outside.
Yeah.
And
Don Tomas Sanchez has that horse.
Noble, we were talking about Noble.
Noble,
It just
yeah.
opened up
Yeah.
on
There's a
West
restaurant
Plaza.
Loop, which is Venado, but now it's Venado Bar and Grill.
I went to Venado. That's probably my favorite one.
Really?
The new Venado on the Loop. It's
What do
really
you
good.
like about it? What's good?
Tostada la Siberia
Uh-huh.
in a taco.
Oh,
Super
really?
taco a la Siberia.
Super
Taco
tacos.
Siberia.
Really good.
Really?
Harina
never
or
tried it.
maíz? Harina or maíz? We're talking.
It was harina.
Was it harina? No.
Yeah, because it was like that big.
Super tacos de maíz.
It was really
Oh,
good.
nice. I haven't been there yet. I'm a big fan of the one here off of I-35. But
I'd say Venado is my favorite of all the new ones.
Yours?
Yeah, I'm a loyalist. I don't have any. Like, I stick to this.
You
I'm
stick
a
to-
pattern oriented.
Jacales on Thursdays.
Yes.
Dude, you'd be sniped in a second, bro. If somebody wanted you
And-
sniped, you'd be dead.
Oh, no, yeah. There's Waterburg on Sundays, they already know. Yeah.
I
It's
get it
between
on
6 and 7, there's a drive through.
They get a picture of you in the drive-thru.
Oh,
They
no.
already know what
Yeah,
you're
I'd be an easy target. They wanted to shoot me, I'd be an easy target. They know exactly. Every day, it's kind of pattern oriented food.
Nice.
Por eso estoy como estoy.
Yeah. Joe?
I think we had him here one time. Bubba's.
Bubba's. Bubba's
Oh,
is
that was
good.
good. I like
I haven't been to that.
I like,
That's true.
I like Bubba's.
I've been to the one out of town, but I haven't been to the one here because
This one's pretty cool.
it's just like everything else. Already. You have to wait 6 months because there's all 300, 400,000 people want to go at the same time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I liked
Yeah.
it. I liked it. I like their food. Nice atmosphere. The service is great.
You're a connoisseur, which is yours.
Oh, I love to eat, man. But I went to, it's not new, but I went to I love the yogurt, the frozen yogurt.
Uh-huh.
And so I normally go to the sweet spot, grab a frozen yogurt every now and then. But I went after dinner on Saturday. I went to where I hadn't been in a long time, Sweet Lauren,
Oh yeah.
Oh, down by
swearing
the
there
tennis
by
courts.
the market tennis
Oh
courts.
yeah.
Right across the street.
Yes, yeah, I've
And-
heard that place has really good Mexican hot
And
dogs.
it has
Great food.
really good hot dogs. They have these foot long hot dogs with they have all sorts of stuff but hamburgers and the yogurt was great. But when I went on Saturday, they were having a show. There was a bunch of kids going all over the place and young people in costumes, and I said, what's going on? There's a party here. What the hell am I walking into? And no, it was the cast of The Lion King from the Laredo Little Theater.
Oh, cool.
They're about to put on the show, and they were performing there, kind of just as a pre-performance kind of deal. And
Kind of a dinner theater.
yeah, and so we got there, and I was with some other friends of mine, and got the yogurt, and other people got hot dogs and hamburgers and stuff, and we were able to enjoy the show
That's
at the
awesome.
same time. So
That's cool.
it was
Very cool.
2 for 1,
Very cool, very
So
cool.
it was the Lion King. So just FYI, I'm putting in a plug for them.
For the line.
Oh, they do a great job there.
They do.
Little
They do.
Laredo Theater. It's nice.
Very good. My favorite spot, the new ones, is Sierra Luna. It's
Oh, yeah.
right there on the corner
Jacobin.
of Jackman and McPherson.
Haven't
I
been
like
there.
that.
Oh,
They
they're
they had some ribeye chicharron with aguacate is one of my favorites. And good, they had a couple good cocktails there as well. Yeah, I enjoyed that one. And then, of course, Tacos El Pepe, the new spot that they've got. They took over the old
Yeah.
Taco
Taco
Palenque.
Palenque Junior.
Oh,
Yeah,
the
Junior, the one out there
Is
on
it
Man
good?
Road.
I
Yeah, it's just-
always been afraid to go in there.
Oh, you got to go in. I mean, the artwork's a little lost tonight style, but it's really good. The
Has
food-
anybody been to Taco Tremendo?
Tremendo taco.
Tremendo taco?
Tremendo Taco.
Yeah, yeah,
Right.
yeah.
I've
In front
never-
of- in
I've
front
never
of
been
Border
there.
Founder.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah.
good.
I've never.
I
I've never.
went once.
Try the beans. They have a frijoles cargados. Yeah,
It's a lot of good places.
it's a lot of good places.
I still go to Rancho and Carnitas Mexico and all
La
that.
República.
That's how loyalist I
La
am.
República 359. That one's good too.
Yeah.
Yeah, 359.
Oh,
Oh, really?
The one on 359.
La República 359. Well, after our meetings at the SAC,
You head out that way.
it's a
Is
couple
it
of
the
blocks
same
down.
República?
Yeah, same
Same
owner,
one.
same deal.
Same one.
Same deal. Very nice though. Very, 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 very good.
Before we go, Gene, wanted to mention the animal shelter. I've been looking at maybe adopting a dog, right? And I went and I got a little tour and stuff.
That's what you need.
Yeah.
You got in
Um,
trouble.
then they talked to me. They were talking to give me a tour and all this kind of stuff. Their funding by the city got cut about 60%. So they have over 300 pets there at the shelter, about another 300 fostered, and they have very little food for the pets, for the dogs, right? So just anybody watching, man, if you all can help, go by, drop off a bag of food, or kind of,
Something,
do
yep.
something, help these, our furry friends.
And don't buy from the breeders. Go and adopt.
Yeah.
Go and adopt. That's the best way to do it.
Yeah.
The new Don Taco on Shiloh is old school like a cross. Carne asada combo is there to go.
Oh, that's in front of
yes.
Has anybody been?
Variety Meats.
I've been there.
Is
Yes.
that right? Is it good?
It felt like you were outdoors at a
No,
puesto.
I haven't gone. It's in my wife's building.
Oh, too. You frequent the guys
I
that
know.
frequent you, right?
Pony
There you
League,
go.
brother.
Yeah.
Pony
Pony
League.
League.
Pony
Getting ready
League,
for
yeah.
Pony League.
Yeah, it's the other thing. Pony League, July 31st, Friday. Kicks off at 9 a.m. at Buena Vista, all the way through to Monday. Bronco will play all of its games there at Buena Vista. Palomino, which is the 18U, will start at Buena Vista. They'll play Friday and Saturday, and they'll switch over to Unitrade and give those boys a stadium experience, the professional stadium experience, and they'll play championship game on Monday. There's a meet and greet that we're having for those players. They're going to get a chance to exchange pins and
Very
tell
cool.
their stories. We're 3 Men and a Mic's going to open up their mics, and we're going to host a live so they can come in and talk and visit, get their parents to see them in Laredo, talk about their experience getting to.
How many countries are represented?
There are 7 countries
Very
coming
cool.
in. Yeah,
China.
new type, the Chinese
Taipei.
Taipei, and then France, Belgium, Puerto Rico, or the Dominican Republic, France, Mexico, and then of course Puerto Rico, which some days are a country, some days are a state, some days
I was about to say, that really qualifies a country.
just depends.
It's
So
just
Laredo could be its own
territory.
country as
If they
well.
win, then.
Yeah, if they win.
They win.
claim
They win the U.S. one.
That's right.
Yeah.
So
And-
the Pony League is, players from Laredo are going to be playing against Taiwan.
They're going to get a
Against China,
chance.
against-
You bet. The
Really?
brackets already came out. I think there are teams from the 4 corners of the U.S. So that means that you have teams from Illinois, California, probably Ohio, and then another Texas team probably coming. And then Laredo gets to put in a team as well as the host. So they'll get a chance to play against some of those national teams
Impressive.
from.
Is this the first event at the baseball stadium? At the new?
No, they've had
event?
others. They've had other
But
small
this
ones,
is
but
big?
this is the first one that they have that they're bringing
Very
in
cool.
international teams from out of country rather than just Nuevo Laredo or
showcasing.
upstate.
Do we have enough
Showcase.
hotel rooms for everybody?
We do for this one, but Pony just announced that they got a tournament that has 194 teams coming next year.
Baseball?
Softball,
Girls.
girls,
Softball.
yes,
Do we need more
Just-
hotels?
You have no
Yeah,
idea
it
how
was
big
on the council.
softball is.
It's
Oh, yeah.
huge.
Softball's
Oh, yeah.
huge.
Absolutely huge.
Oh, yeah.
And we've been fortunate the last couple of years. Pony Richard Rosas primarily has been able to get some really stellar athletes to come and speak to the girls. Kat Osterman's been here, Jessica Fernandez, a couple others. We had 2 girls from Oklahoma that played in there, that won 4 championships in a row. They were here. They're part of the Olympic team. Yeah, so
Cat Osterman was
So you got
huge.
Laredo
She was a
playing
tall
France right away.
France,
opening day.
yeah,
Wow.
yeah. So
Yeah,
great
Good
stuff
deal,
happening.
man.
And I'll tell
We
you,
can
girls
showcase
softball-
our city, man.
We do Border Olympics and girls soccer's like in the coldest days of Laredo. And I'm over here like in 3 jackets and the girls are in shorts running around. So I know what's balls.
Yeah.
Well, the beauty of the Buena Vista Sports Complex is that this is what it was designed for, to bring those tourists from
Very cool.
all over the world to Laredo. So hopefully we can do
I
this.
before I went to the AC/DC concert on Friday,
Friday.
right? So I went to the concert, and we walked from a buddy's condo, pretty close. Went upstairs, walked the stairs. Halfway through the stairs, we're like huffing and puffing, right? Then we get to our seats. We're watching and we have an 80-year-old man, Angus Young, running the stage for 3 hours, jumping. I'm like, qué vergüenza.
You couldn't do
I couldn't get the stairs, and this guy's over here running back and
doing the
forth,
kicks
jumping up.
everything?
Yeah, everything.
No
The way,
way.
yes, 80 years old, and the guy's still
still
rocking, man.
We need to get more concerts down here. in Laredo.
More drugs.
Hidalgo gets a bunch.
There's both. I went to go see Journey and then Grupo Frontera, and the vibe is totally different. The stadium was jumping up and down with Grupo Frontera, and, I'm
Frontera,
not
I
a fan,
love
just
that
gotta-
concert.
and it was like crazy, and I'm like Journey, and I'm like all up and like, and somebody said, Journey's 70 something, Grupo Frontera are the kids, today's
Yeah.
youth.
That's that's
And
the new.
all the seats were moving like this. You can feel the. You can feel
Had
the
a good
loudness.
vibe.
And they say that every week. I mean, there's concerts every other week.
Yeah.
You know, so it's,
There's something
there's
happening
something
in Laredo.
happening in Laredo. It's there.
I hate hearing that there's nothing for me. to
Oh
do.
yeah, there's got to be
There's
something.
something
There's
to do.
always something to do.
Yeah.
There's always
Yeah.
something to do. We just need to improve on our customer service. I think that's one of the biggest things is a drawback to us. That's one of the things that we could really offer is hospitality and customer service. Because we don't have casinos, we don't have a river walk, we don't have any
Well,
customer
you have
service. and have
maquinitas.
good-
You have maquinitas, so I don't know about not having casinos.
Yeah, maquinitas.
That's
Sure,
a
I'm
topic. That's a topic for another.
Yeah.
not going to gamble my life away for a box of soap and a
Yeah.
Winnie the
right.
Pooh doll.
It's
Yeah,
wink,
inside the-
wink.
yeah, that's right. It's what's inside the box
It's
of soap.
Italian. So.
Yeah.
Anyways, gentlemen, thank you for joining
you.
us.
Thank you guys for having us.
Great,
Appreciate you guys coming in.
Yeah.
coming in and having some time with us. Rick, Laurel, going back to custom brokerage and doing the things you do, watching
Yep.
what happens, and
International trade.
stay involved with the city. And I know you've done a lot over the years to make our community better. So we're happy that you joined us, and hope maybe you guys can come back on a different topic.
Yeah,
And we'll keep thinking the cup's half full.
Yep,
No
absolutely.
matter what's in the cup, the
we have
cup's always
to.
half
No
full.
matter what's in there.
The cup's always half full.
Yep,
Cup's
always half
half
full.
All right, well, everybody, thank you so much for joining us. Have a great night, and we'll see you in 2 weeks when we come back to youth sports, the good, the bad, and the ugly, part 2.
Oh.
Yeah, once you lose that half full,
Good night.
you're in trouble.
You're in trouble.